Hello. Ah, words are hard. Mwah. Words hard. Hello, how is existence? Please ignore the fact that it has been about a month and a half since I had last done anything with this game. I had hoped to have been finished before I went on my vacation at the beginning of last month, and then time got away from me, and I've been meaning to come back and finish for a while. Hello. How are we doing? See what I did there? Alright, hold on, I should put it on. There we are. But yes, I'm. It is a time like the you must kill it back at some point. Where did chat on screen? Chat on screen. Screw it. I'm sure it'll figure it out. God, this is. I can painfully hear. Hold on, if we just change the direction of how we do this. Okay, yep, there we go. I'm just moving some stuff around. Hopefully that's a little bit. Okay, I can hear it a bit less. I can hear my air conditioning a little bit less than before, but I don't know if it is actually better. Now, if I somehow do not finish this in the time I have allotted for stream tonight, then I am in... We already know I am the slowest. But dear God, that will mean I am slow beyond slow. Hello, Farfar. I haven't seen him in a while. He drops in. Why is Furret just having a period? Furret, is it your period? Also, yeah, Mazorik comes in like very briefly between work usually, so it's a quick stop and go. Jeez. Yeah, May 27th was the last time I played this. Looking at date. Or ignoring that. Hold on, we're just gonna try and figure this. Thankfully, the game has a little bit of overview of everything here. So I'm just going to real quick read through this so I can refresh myself on where I was over a month ago, and then hopefully we can do some stuff. And I will hopefully not be completely lost by the end of it. You are the ghost of Sigmund von Winter, former Marchioness of Greywall, and Lady Protector of Lif, trapped in your brother's suit of armor, searching for answers to the questions you could not ask him, make you uncover the truth. You need to find the name of your... a name you not only forgot yourself but erased from history, hers. You have found a stack of letters beneath your brother's bed, but need a staff or rod to reach them. What do I have on me? The suit of armor that I have, the candelabra. The center one is carved with your brother's name. The the little carving, key with the raven motif. But that could maybe go to the drawer in Papa's room. I think if I haven't unlocked that, still child's drawing of Knight on a unicorn with the words Snowflower and brother. Large ornate key unlocks the path in the Great Hall. Small iron key unlocks the door to her childhood room. Why did the commander have this? I'm sure there's nothing untoward about that. Charcloth lighting. Okay. I vaguely remember this stuff at this point. Alright. So, which direction... Oh. Huh? My lady. You will address me as Commander. What? Commander Winter. Oh, Commander Winter. Urgent news from the scouts. Heimdall's marching from the east. Right, Heimdall was the one... More of this. More sending good men to die. Good men and callous men and worthless men. With a spear in hand and the enemy ahead, there is little difference to be found in their hearts. That's what you tell yourself anyways. Victory comes at any cost and at any price. The lowly pay in blood, while you... The house that this is, yes, you pay a different price. The burden of proving all these sacrifices means something. The ones who die are lucky. They're just too insignificant to know it. Also, for you doing okay, you only pop in the periods. That's the only new thing that could be clicked. Stale liquor, dusty cedar, parchment and ink. It's a tournament day, but you're not in the spirit for games. You'd retreat here in a foul mood. No? All for it. Mike Bats. Unaware that your father had shirked his duties and done the same. You'll be 13 soon, but he still says you're too young to watch the joust. You would think back then, in that time, 13 would be the ripe age to watch blood. You're his most precious child in the whole world, considering he prefers to the other one as the bastard son, so, you know. Clearly a bit of favoritism there. Apparently. So why can't he give you what you want? It isn't fair. Before you can enter the library, you stop. Voices sound from behind the oaken door. Papa's arguing with someone. I wonder if he's yelling at a servant again. Oh, right, Papa also had that hair. He peeked through the crack in the doorway. It's not a servant, it's your brother. Fresh from his own match, he's still dressed in his tournament armor. His helm, with its long silver plume, covers his head, while his dusty blue surcoat hangs over his breastplate. The fabric bears his personal crest, a unicorn, modeled after his steed, Snowflower. It hides the raven carved onto his cuirass completely. Hide the House Association. You ungrateful bastard! Who gave you everything you have? Who granted you the honor and privilege of knighthood when you should be rotting in the streets? Jesus Christ. Is he even your blood, or is he just some rat that you grabbed up? Okay. What more do you want, boy? The honor of bleeding and killing for you. Oh, okay, is that what? Well, you know, I guess this is the time of night. Yeah, that makes sense. The privilege of watching you treat the person I love like a slave? Oh. Yeah. You know what I want, Father. Silence. Until both your debts are paid, but... This is confusion. Don't worry about it. That's what I was in until about... right until I set the stream for, pretty much. Ugh. Tiredness is a weird thing. Don't even dream about doing as you please. You are nothing unless I say so. Oh. You stand there completely still. It frightens you hearing your gentle brother sound like this. Hearing them argue like this. You've seen terse moments between them. Neither are open or emotional men. But you've never heard them fight in front of you before. Well, that's because they don't know they're in front of you right now. You slink away from the door, suddenly less upset about missing the games. As the weeks passed, and your days filled again with your lessons and childhood worries, you soon forgot what you overheard entirely. The old family record catches your gaze from the shelves. The records that contain no mention of your brother. As you reach for it, finger plates brushing its spine, you pause. Then you search for something to write with. The pot of ink is long dried, but you manage to find a piece of charcoal after rummaging around through the desk. Also, I note, if you're on the edge of tired, this is probably not... This game has very calming music. This is probably not the best game to be watching while on the weird borderline. It'll probably send you to tiredness. Turning the pages with your gauntlet was challenging. Writing with them is another trial altogether. You struggle and nearly snap the charcoal multiple times, but finally scrawl the words. Here, 213. On the 29th day of the first month, a son is born, out of wedlock, to the young Lord Sigmund, Marquis of Greywall. The boy named Tristan would serve his house as a loyal knight. Then you return to the record to its place and step away. Add his name to the ledger. Probably the wrong word. Just add his name to the history so he's there now, as he deserves to be. I don't recall seeing a feminine name in these papers, but I wasn't looking for one then. Unfortunately, your father doesn't seem to have treated the parchment with any care. Well, he very dead. Huh. And we'll see what... oh god, that's gonna be a nightmare. Most of the words and names have smudged or faded. The imprints of two names, barely legible, appear time and time again. Greywall and Leitner. According to the pages, they were given the lowest wages among the knights, and much of what they earned was deducted for their expenses. Maintenance of equipment, lodgings, stabling, and so on. These expenses go back years. Back to when they were squires, children. This amount of debt. This was more than robbery. This was practically slavery. Father, you worked the tomb mercilessly. It took more than you gave. Why? Could you have truly hated Tristan so fiercely? That's the leave option. Astara. It took me more than a decade, but in the end I crushed them. I murdered the bloody princess and avenged my brother. The conflict did not stop there. After that, Heimdall had to pay. And after him, more traitorous lords would threaten my territories or the crown. I knew at most a few years of peace at a time. But even when the land was not at war, war resided within me. I would close my eyes to the horrific dreams. I would awaken screaming, sure that blades were slicing my... I would awaken screaming, sure that blades were slicing my limbs, or ravens tearing asunder my flesh. The nightmares followed me no matter where I went. Father, I never understood why Tristan didn't mourn you when you died. Why he felt no anger when he learned that she murdered you. But now I have different questions. What happened between you? What did you refuse to give your own son? Why was there a world of difference between how you sheltered me and tested him? You fit the key engraved with your house symbol in the keyhole of the locked drawer. It opens with a soft click. So Tristan did know where it was all along. You pull the drawer open and ignore the dust that settles over your gauntlet. It's filled with countless pages, yet to your dismay, none of them appear to be letters, hiding intimate secrets inscribed in ink. I see documents with my father's seal and drawings. I mean, there's her as well. Oh, yeah. Your father's seal is stamped on what appears to be more fiscal documents. Oh, joy! You pause, however, when you spell your brother's name. On the 11th day of the 5th month, year 238. Sir Tristan of Greywall made payment to his lord Marquis Sigmund von Winter to a sum of 5,000 silver. You check the amount again. Daily makes your visor drop. That seems like a lot for a little bit. Whatchamacallit. Oh! For what I would think him to be earning. 5,000? That's 10 times a knight's yearly income. But I remember clearly that my brother had no fief. His wages would be even lower than his fellows. Brother, how did you pay the sum at only 25? A lot of work. Also, if you seek action, you are at the wrong stream. This is calm reading time, not... This is not action time. And what for? What could you possibly have owed father? Why did he wrest a fortune from you? And he was already one of the wealthiest lords in all of Livsrazor. A single painting in an oval frame lies on a stack of charcoal sketches. Each appears to depict the same woman. A woman with long, straight red hair, tied in a loose braid, whose uneven fringe peeks over her grayish eyes and fair cheeks. She's dressed not in a gown or any finery, but shining steel plate. This woman isn't my mother. I've never seen her before. There's gotta be something in here. You shuffle through the papers. There aren't many documents. One appears to outline ownership of your father's territories in Highwall. Territory claimed from a Count Leitner. The usernames. Sometimes people just don't show up. Sometimes one reason or another people are busy or, have other things to do that are not to be here. That's fine. You're just being quiet. Yeah, more mic rubbing. Hopefully I didn't damage my mic to do that. As reparation for his family treachery. Leitner. That was her maiden name. Well, it seems like treachery ran in her blood. I remember that my brother was a well-known tourney knight when I was a child. She was just as skilled as him. That was how she first met fame and inspired the bards. If they were both exceedingly lucky, then perhaps they could have raised a fortune in a short amount of time. But the question remains of why. Red hair is as common as blonde in Livsrazor. In fact, I was afraid my own grandson would be born with that terrible hue. But red-haired knightesses... Though the woman's features are nothing like hers, you doubt any relation exists between them, the coincidence makes the comparison inevitable. Is it just that, a coincidence, when my father bought another young red-haired squire here? Talking about her family's upbringing things keep us out of portrait anymore. My father's a great man, born to a great house. If this woman were a mere knightess, was the object of his affection, she could never have been more than his mistress. don't know if it would classify as an... I don't know that I particularly like either of these options, because I wouldn't call it an obsession, but I also wouldn't call that romantic. I think I'd call it more romantic than... no, tragic. This is probably a very inconsequential decision, but it's still just... always haunts me to make what I want. Always haunts me to make what I want. Yeah, that sounds about right as a statement. Haunted him. There are no letters between them here. Was his fondness ever reciprocated? Or did he leave his feelings sensibly hidden? When I was young, the thought of father admiring any woman besides my mother was impossible for my child's mind to imagine. I had forgotten, of course, that my brother's existence precluded that. Even now, I admit it feels wrong to learn that father treasured this stranger's portrait, while he kept no token of his wife. Well, who am I to speak, when I kept no token of my own husband after he perished? Though I despaired at being widowed so young, we were barely more than strangers to each other. He was never kind to me, nor to our son. I did not miss him. Portrait of a knight is... never seen her before. Something about her gaze is oddly familiar. Is there anything else clickable in here? What? Hello, hi, so... well, that seems... what the words she uttered back then? Oh! I shared a life with you all these years because I thought you would fight for me. For us. But here we are. 7 years, no home, no land, still drowning in debt. Well, it's a little bit... look, it's a little bit tricky when you're kind of under the boot of the... you know... Big Papa. At that time, I thought her ungrateful for my family had given her. But this treatment would turn anyone to resentment. Oh. Shelved here. Her name still evades you. Most of the tomes belong to your father. But in the lower shelves you spy titles that you used to pore over. Novels, memories of heroes, romantic poetry. On occasion, I would pester my father to stop his work and read with me. He rarely indulged me. My own son did the same to me when he was very small. Did I ever stop and read to him? Terribly, I wonder... oh, I thought I'd already read that. Whoops. Wonder, why couldn't he stay here and protect me? Was he trying to pay off what debt he owed you? The father I knew as a child was a different man from the one my brother knew. I see that much now. So why did he act like there was no strife between them? Did everyone know it save for me? You slide open the bottom drawer and peek at bottles of murky amber liquid. The unsightly hue. Oh, was it... oh, that does sound nice. Haven't used yet. The unsightly hue reminds you of her eyes. Is this how she poisoned you? You shove the drawer shut and leave it that way. A drawer containing mementos of what could only be your father's lover and a record of the fortune your brother paid him. Check the contents again. Is there any... can I dig around a little bit more? Portrait of drawer, yeah, that's all that there is. Documents, blah blah blah. There is nothing more to be in here. Before you exit the room, you decide to relight your brother's candle, seeing as it has gone out during your journey through the Great Hall. You bring your candlestick to the tall candelabra and catch the wick on one of the tiny flames. These are still going is an impressive thing. What? A familiar bright light unfolds around you, engulfing your visor. What are you doing? Two children sit surrounded by stacks of books and parchment. A girl, slim and short-haired, lies restlessly with the collar of her uniform. Her companion, a boy, looks over a tome. His locks are long and messy, peeking over his wide blue eyes. His young face is unscarred. I'm making this recipe from the book Lady Vivian gave me. Let's see. Invisible ink? Invisible ink? Invisible ink, you say? Do you think that will really work? What's the harm in trying? How'd you get in trouble for stealing ingredients from your father? I get in trouble just for breathing. Yeah, that sounds about right from the story I've seen. What was his excuse last time? That I didn't greet him quickly enough? Fine. But I bet you're just wasting your time. Despite what she says, the young girl watches attentively as he works. Even at that age, his fingers are nimble and swift. Finally, he dips a quill into the concoction and scrawls a hasty message on the blank sheet. His pen leaves nary a mark. The ink is indeed nearly invisible. After giving it a moment to dry, he brings the page close to the flame of a lit candle. Both a delighted gasp as letters form, as if by magic, from the heat. It works! That means we can send messages without anyone reading them. Well, unless they also figure out how this works. But also, this is like the only way I could see of her name existing now. You don't need invisible ink for that. No one can read your handwriting. I feel called out. That was a memory of my brother's childhood. Invisible ink. Sounds like a child's fancy. Message can hardly be kept secret if one only needs a candle to reveal it. Wait. The letters I found in my brother's satchel in the storage room. Hidden with her things. I thought they'd simply faded, but if they were meant for her to read... Hold on. So, suit of armor, candelabra, cover the tool, key with the raven, silver ring, did that drawing, large ornate key, the thing, the great hall. So, okay, friggin'. I keep forgetting these rooms just refresh with stuff I can click on. You look older in the painting. How had an artist painted that way? Art is meant to present an ideal version of the world, is it not? Like the image of the perfect ruler, whether or not she exists. I thought art was supposed to capture the beauty in the world. Its imperfections included. Would that I could have been true to myself as you wanted. If I had been born in a time of peace, perhaps you could have been my greatest advisor. But in the time I lived in, I could never have survived if I had allowed myself to be seen as imperfect. Nope, wrong way. Ah! Wait, I remember something from my days as commander. What? I remember when a part of my forces sent off to a desperate battle vanished without a trace. I thought they had all deserted, until a single knight returned, bleeding and scarred. It was one of the beasts from the tales, he claimed. A revenant had appeared in that war-torn landscape and ripped my men to pieces. He told me he believed the creature appears in areas of great suffering. Places where lives are taken in great numbers and spirits left to fester with their corpses untouched by burial or flame. Where both body and soul are left to rot after death. There the spirits crawl, low to the earth, clinging together and clinging to iron, in whatever form they find it. There they might find time to drift off towards the sunless sea, unless a dominant spirit, one whose suffering draws in the others like a lodestone, remains. You sit on the candlestick, reach for the satchel, and carefully retrieve the blank folded letters. You pick up one, smooth it out over your cuirass, and tentatively bring it closer to the candle that bears your brother's name. As the small flame's warmth spreads, words blossom over the empty page. It worked! I can read it! For a moment you feel as giddy as a child, but the elation in your cuirass is quickly pierced by something sharper. I'm sorry, brother. I know these words were not meant for me, but I have little choice but to invade your privacy. And so, by light of a flickering candle, you read. You enjoy your sleep. Miri. I miss you so much. How are you? Are you well? Are you eating enough? Is Lord Heimdall treating you well? I can't tell you where I am, but I'm unharmed. I love you. Tristan. Miri. That must have been his pet name for her. But what did I call her? Miri, I miss you so much. But know how much I long to see your face, spirits. I'm glad you're not here. This battle is... Please don't worry about me. I'll see you soon, I promise. Tristan. The next letter is dated a few weeks after your brother returned from the war. Miri. Nothing feels the same. We fight over everything and anything, don't we? If I show too much attention, I'm breathing down your neck. If I show too little, I'm ignoring you. If I give you space, it means I don't care. If I don't, it means I won't leave you alone. I need only mention Lynn and you refuse to speak with me. I try not to blame you. I try to understand, but even my patience has its limits. Are you trying to hurt me because I hurt you? Or are you that blind? Because I'll admit I was. How did I not notice how lonely you were? Why didn't you tell me? Could I have been enough for you? If only I tried harder? I'm sorry. From the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. I love you. Tristan. Again, you flip to the next letter, wondering if reading the entire pile will be fruitless. I hate you. I hate how I miss you. But I hate how when you hold me in your arms, when you beg me to hold you, I don't know if I can trust you again. You used me once, you broke your promise. I hate that I don't mind if you do it again, if it means you'll stay. Remember how we used to be so careful? When we were 18, 19, who would have thought we'd be acting with wild abandon like this in our 30s? And every time you knock on my door, I give you what you want because I want you back. I want you to never forget how I make you feel. So why are you always gone when I wake? Do you feel nothing from me at all? Mirjam? There it is. Her name. Mirjam. Dame Mirjam Lantner. Lady Mirjam von Heimdall. The name of your old enemy stares back at you from the page written in your brother's hand. The name you erased from the world. And now after learning it again... Always safe when a decision is to be made. I mean, I feel both of these could be true. From a certain way of looking. But more complicated. No, we did. That red seems very ominous, but more. I thought I knew the woman whom I called my enemy. The wretch she was, and all she coveted. But after I took this steel form and walked through these halls again, I found I knew little about her at all. Her life was a tangle of thorns. My father wronged her, my brother failed her. The girl she once read bedtime stories to her executed her. I may never forgive her for what she's done. I may never call her family again. But there's more I need to uncover while I still can. More about her, about my brother. And I want to understand. You continue on to the next letter. Oh, good, keep invading the privacy of a dead man. Miri, I'd lose a second eye for you, a limb, my life. I miss him as much as you do. I mourn him like you do. Spirits, I loved him for every breath he was with us. How could you imagine for a moment that I didn't love him? That he wasn't more precious to me than my own life. Just because I love Lynn like a daughter. Just because in my heart of hearts she is my daughter. Was it because I did my duty as a knight? Because, hopeless as it was, I had to fight? Why don't you understand? Why do you insist on suffering alone? Brother. Who did you mean by him? Mary, my darling. You're right. All I did was abandon you. I was angry. Angry at Ostara. Angry at Caius. For the first time, I had a reason to fight. You're right to hate me. Spirits, I didn't mean the things I said back then. I beg you. If you hold an ounce of love for me still, please forgive me. I love you. I love you as much as I always have. I love you until my last breath. Please take me back. Don't leave me. Don't go. One more letter remains in the satchel. You unfold it carefully. Mary, dearest, I know how much you've sacrificed over the years. What you gave up to be at my side. I want you to know I'm willing to do the same. I'm willing to sacrifice what's precious to me, Lynn. She'll be an adult soon. She doesn't need me by her side any longer. She doesn't need my shadow to stand under. It's time I let her shine on her own. I always knew I would have to let her go, but I can't lose you both. Please take me with you. I only beg that you don't ask me to forget her. She will always hold a piece of my heart like you and like him. I hope you know she loves you. I think about you always, I dream of you, and the life I hope we can still share. I love you. I'll love you until I die and beyond. Even when I'm past the sunless sea, what remains of my heart will reach for you. I love you. I've never stopped, dearest. I'll always be the boy who kissed your hand under the moonlight, the man whose breastplate you pinned a rose to, the father of the child whom you gave my name to, whose memory I keep in my heart, always, forever. I haven't changed. All I want is a new beginning, a new life with you. I love you. How many times? Can we get an I love you counter on that? Yours forever and true, Tristan. So they had a child together at some point. I think at some point that had been apparent. Hence what they were talking about. The father of the child whom you gave my name to. You had a child, and never told me. When, how, what happened? Well, the child... and sacrificing me. This is what you meant all those years ago. Leaving Grey Walls, sacrificing your place in my life, and leaving me behind just so I wouldn't have to stand in your shadow. Oh, what the... Right, the scroll wheel can scroll backwards. Why did you think you had to? Why did you think that was what was best for me? You set down the letters with more questions than answers. What matters is I have her name now. Mirjam. With that I can try to bring what's left of her to rest. As you return the letters to the satchel, your gauntlet grazes the old fabric nestled in it. Her wedding veil. My brother wanted to return these things to her. Even if she doesn't want them, they don't belong here carelessly tossed away. There's a better place for them to spend eternity. You take the contents of the satchel and pile them into your own. Thankfully, there's enough room for them alongside the things you've already collected. Finally, you pick up the candlestick, raising its one flickering flame aloft, and head toward the chapel. I'm not one for prayers, but I may as well do it in the proper place. These staves. I could use one to reach the shelf my brother was hiding. Oh! You take one of the broken staff and awkwardly tuck it to the sash on your waist like you would a dagger. An unwieldy sword-length club of a dagger. It's a shame I didn't commission a sword frog and belt to go along with this armor, you think as you shake your helmet. That's a mistake fresh-faced warriors often make. spending all their coin on the sword and not the scabbard, and fittings to go with it, or in my case, the suit. You suppose you can afford some grace to the young girl you were, however, who had yet to possess her own blade. You adjust your sash so that the staff doesn't clang loudly against your cuirass. Your cuisas and cuirass with every step, which is easier said than done. You'll likely have to retie it every several paces, but at least it leaves one of your gauntlets free. Astral eyes closed, barricading it. It seems, won't be of any use. That creature must have made itself at home in the cellars. That's how it found me out in the snow. I know where I won't be going. You shouldn't have. Oh, think of it as an early wedding gift. Come on, try it on. I'm a lousy partner if I can't spoil you from time to time, aren't I? That's not true. You're all I could ask for. You deserve it. You deserve so much. Spring. Bright sunlight spills over a bustling town square. The market blooms with colors, pennants fluttering in the air like butterflies. Stalls strung with dried flowers, people filling the streets, tunics and skirts of woad and weld blossoming among the cobblestone. You keep your long hair covered despite the warm day. She helped you braid it into tight plaits, wound with bright blue ribbons. The kirtle and braided belt you don today are plainer than all of your dresses, but far more comfortable too. Nobody who glanced your way would think you were anything more than an ordinary little girl enjoying the festival with her young, love-struck parents. No, it feels strange to pretend to be his daughter for the day. You're happy you resemble your brother. His own hair is tied back in a long ponytail, peeking out from his hood. Silver strands stand out like a blot of ink on a fresh page after all. But she stands out anyway. Her loose waves flow down her back, burning red in the sunlight. Uncouth you knew from your etiquette lessons for a woman of her age. But she never cared what others thought of her. You admired that. You were always a little envious of it. You're a little jealous of the faraway look in her eyes as your brother fits the clasp around her neck, the amber shining against the collar like a drop of sunlight. The way he furtively uses his hood to shield them both from view as he quietly kisses her. The soft flush of her cheeks, a secret whispered between them that you can't hear. You watch her touch the drop of gold around her neck, as if it were the most precious thing in the world. But she stares upward, as if the real treasure is held in her eyes. Shame how that ends. That day, I remember now. The room remains in a sorry state. The iron chandelier has fallen from the ceiling. The furniture is in disarray, and broken glass litters the floor. Whether caused by human hands or the creature's claws, you couldn't say. Well, given the chandelier is still here, it seems that it hasn't run out of things to devour yet. A knightess of the rose. I recall that in my childhood, heroines who donned armor and rescued princes were well loved. But after the long war against Ostara, such knightesses were written as villains instead. The proper storybook heroine became a meek, kind-hearted maiden who wouldn't dare pick up a sword. Like the real bloody princess had. I was quite the patron of arts, so naturally I had a hand in it. Many painters and playwrights tried to court my favor. Those who met my demands would be showered in riches, while those who failed languished in poverty and obscurity. Whether you have regrets about that now matters little compared to your present concerns. The armor stares back at you in the mirror. Well, your brother's armor does. I had little attachment to my own armor in life. I cared not for its design nor shape, only that it served its function. But this suit... I remember spending hours choosing the engravings, making sure each pattern was perfect, specifying each and every detail in my letters to the smiths. Though he never wore it, the love I had for him was inscribed on every plate. And because I was drawn to this place, the place that housed my deepest regrets, of course this would be the thing I haunted. Your gaze turns back to the broken windows. It wasn't very long ago you were seated by a window like this one, looking out at the same winter sky. You walk toward them and stare out at the night beyond. While you were alive, you scarcely had the chance to savor your time in it. Perhaps it takes leaving the cycle of life to see it for how extraordinary it is. The night swallowing the day, the seasons changing, the sun spinning round the earth, or the other way around, as the heretics claim. Wait a minute, did that... I kind of just was reading that and was taking it in briefly. The sun spinning round the earth, or the other way around, as the heretics claim. So I was kind of just in the mood, and then I realized what I read out loud. Ah, yes, the heretics. The heretics who believe that the earth goes around the sun. How dare you, heresy! On rare occasions, I would sit here with my father. I don't recall much about him, truth be told. Though I saw him rarely, I remember that he praised me. I tried so hard to hold on to that praise, to become the perfect heir in his eyes. But why is it that I can't remember his voice, reading me a story, or him carrying me in his arms? You set the candlestick down on the altar, reach for your carving tool, and prepare to inscribe a name. For the one who keeps vigil in this castle where my brother died. For the one he cared for most. You steady your gauntlet and carve the letters. Just gonna remind myself. Her. Mirjam. One sec. Whoops! I have caps lock on. Mirjam. You strike a flint and bring the flame toward it. As soon as it ignites the wick, the room erupts with incandescent light. Completely composed. Hell yes. Cold stone walls surround you. Also, hello, Mazorik. The stench of sharp herbs and feverish, unwashed bodies fills the unkempt room. She lies against a thin mattress, sweat clinging to her brow. A bundle, wrapped in linens, rests in her arms. Her skin is sallow and damp. Her feeble form is a ghost of the warrior you knew. Your brother brings a gentle hand to her burning cheek. His bandages peek out from the tears in his tunic. Tears in his tunic. Tears? Why is English words? Scars carve his body as deep as the lines of anguish etched in his face. Don't go. Her voice was barely more than a whisper. It struggles to escape her throat. Stay with me. With us. I presume this is freshly after the birth of child. I have to go, dearest, but I promise you I'll see you both again. On this shore or the next. Yeah, I thought I had remembered something about him having to go off to war for that. Ah. Friend to see for the first time in over a year. That's always a good feeling. The reunite always feels good. Ow. Always feels good. His hand leaves her face. She does not have the strength to reach for him again as he turns away. You find yourself back in the present, moonlight bathing your steel plates. Two softly glowing flames dance on the altar, his and hers. One more candle remains on the iron candlestick. Unlit and uncarved, it awaits a name. For the son he lost, for the nephew I never knew. You carve the name they gave him. For a moment, I forgot that he had explicitly stated, the child who you gave my name. When you light the wick, warmth flows over your gauntlet, to your pauldron settling in your cuirass like an embrace. A peal of laughter, thin as a membrane, echoes at a distance. A soft, crooning lullaby envelops you. A memory of warmth gone too soon. Both sound and sensation quickly fade as you return to your surroundings. Now 3 wavering flames rest upon the altar. Learning that your brother loved and lost a son brings a sharp feeling to the space beneath your metal cuirass. That pain we both share. Well, I've done what I came here for, but I know that her spirit and mine aren't the only ones trapped here. These grounds remain haunted. The Revenant, whoever or whatever it used to be, is proof enough of that. If I could help Sir Dythard's spirit along, perhaps I could do the same for others who perished here. Perhaps it will change something, or perhaps it's pointless to even think about it. But what do I have to lose? Perhaps there are other amends you were unable to make while you were alive. Perhaps this simple act now will help you reach those who are gone beyond reach, perhaps. Carve a name of my choosing does not affect gameplay. If you wish to abandon playing as Lynn for a moment and carve a name as yourself, you can do so. This will not affect the game, your stats, or endings in any way. If anyone remembers from years ago, right before I made this model, I mentioned... Actually, no, I think Mazoric, that would have been before your time, but that was what the friend who passed away all those years ago went by. The candle joins the others, softly glowing in the moonlight. Oh, whoop. I didn't have a... Sorry, I didn't... Oops. Do we have any names that could be good to be carved here? As any suggestions? Yes, you are going to get... Ah, don't cry. Do not cry. That was the one name I had in mind. What is your curl? The one you're naming? What do you mean the one you're naming? This is not what you're naming. This is for whatchamacallit. This is just names of the dead to give them light to ferry across the sunless sea is what it's called, I believe. Correct? Do I remember that correctly? Yeah, the sunless sea. It is a candle to light the way for the dead. And grant them passage. What's going on? You just got here? No, that's why the thing said parenthetical. This is not affecting gameplay. You are doing this as you, not the character in the game. Someone who has passed away, yes. Go for the name, Amy? You may. Oh, wait. I don't know or care who that is. Fair enough. Wait, I thought... do you let another... Hold on. Well, apparently... Well... That was... Wait a minute. Could I forget... that was a whoops. Apparently it only gave you the one to do in out of character. It was done in spirit. Sigmund. Oops. Father. Find candle and carve his name into the wax. The courtyard of your childhood home appears before you when the light fades. A flash of silver draws your gaze. The younger version of your brother stands in the shade, his two bright blue eyes staring unflinchingly at a figure you knew well, your father. Dappled sunlight shines upon the garden surrounding them. Butterflies laze about on bright blossoms. But the peace is quickly broken. Stay away from her. Oh wait, stay away from her. How dare you raise your voice at your liege lord boy. You dare call yourself our liege? A noble is supposed to... Ugh. A noble is supposed to be a shepherd that protects those he rules, not the wolf that preys on them. I see Darthor was too lenient in disciplining you. Father. You and the lamb you care so much about will be punished for your insolence. Fine. But tell me, did my mother ever love you? Or was she just another person who couldn't say no to you? You heartless child. If only you were never born. Okay, yeah, we're learning the why of the hatred there. Do you light another candle? Hold on. What other... My mother. Carve the letters of the name and see the vision. Promise me you'll take care of your sister. Promise you'll never fight. That you'll love each other. I will. Lady Vivian. I promise. Tristan. Thank you, sweet child. My lady. Misham, will you look after these two for me? I will, my lady. I'm sorry I can't protect you any longer, but I'm relieved you'll have each other. Well, if only that were enough. Oh, that was your cat from a few years ago? Oh. Living alone. Good to hold on to the memories. That's how the dead live. That is how the dead live on, is through the memories we hold about them. He died in his first campaign, struck down by an enemy halberd. Oh! After her passing. I think she was... It sounds vaguely familiar. Forgive me if it was only mentioned once over the years of me attempting to remember. Siegfried. My own son? That feels too much like offering forgiveness to him. He may have paid for his mistakes with his life, but I was the one left to fix the damages they caused. Much like my brother, his foolishness would leave wounds I would carry for the rest of my life. But I suppose now isn't the time to be stubborn. My child, rest well wherever you are. I'm sorry I couldn't be the mother you needed. You carve his name into the fine wax of a finer candle and light the wick. Siegfried. You stand not in the chapel of your childhood home, but the halls of the castle you built anew. Castle Winter, the place that would stand tall and mighty, dwarfing the place you had lost. Bring me the other prisoner. Oh, okay. A younger version of you, clad in burnished armor, commands. Yet the knights you address stand still, looking nervously between themselves. Well, Oh. Stream is having a lovely drop time right now. What the hell? That is weirdly consistent where it's dropped to. Okay. We're waiting a lovely moment here while my internet has its moment. Don't mind me waiting for a moment. Internet is being too funky. Yeah. Alright, Nope. I was about to say some words, but I'm going to hold off on saying words until such time... Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna do a be right back while we wait for this to pass. While I wait for that to pass. I forgot Ezra was still here. Yeah, screw it. Ezra can remain here. I return, and Mazork, I hope your goneness you are doing well. Are your feet broken, soldier, or is it your tongue? Don't... Mother... Wait, what? The sound of his voice makes you, the you in the present in the chapel, flinch, as if he truly were alive again, as if you could speak with him again. I had the knights bring Lady Margaret to the guest chambers. They were only following my orders. What? In this vision, he is, much as you remember him, a young man, a boy of not even 20. His hair is long and silver, his features youthful and fine. His solemn blue eyes would mirror your own. But unlike yours, they brim with coldness, not fury. Siegfried, are you mad? That girl is our prisoner. She is our what? You dare disobey me? I am of age now, mother. She is still in charge of you in this case. You have no right to order me around. She is a woman who is in charge of more than just you. She's in charge of a lot more things. Ow. You ungrateful child! You spiteful hag! Please, Lord Siegfried. Siegfried, you needn't go so far. Wait, what? A pitiful young woman steps out of the shadows to reach for your son's arm. Pure, unblemished hatred floods your heart when you see her vile face. Soft, fair skin, wide, golden eyes. Long tresses of red hair, the spitting image of her. You're innocent of your parents' wrongdoing, Margaret, and I won't see you punished for them. What? Ew. That girl's parents, they destroyed everything, Siegfried. Yeah, They killed my father and brother. For one who claims to do everything for the sake of family, you never care for those who you still have. Oh. Nights my mother needs rest. Please escort her to her Are they gonna... Siegfried! You foolish boy. You know that our house depended on your marriage to a powerful ally. You know that Heimdall and her were our mortal enemies. You wed their daughter just to spite me. I hated you. I thought you were an imbecile like your father. But as the years passed, I would come to see that with all your stubbornness, your self-righteousness, and even your headstrong foolishness, it was me you took after. I hope you're in a gentle place now. I wonder, can I do the bird? I miss you, my friend. Take a small candle and carve the raven's name into the wax. That actually works. Please, can he come with us, brother? It's a wild animal, and you can't keep it as a pet. You know. He's hurt. I can take care of him. I'm really great with birds. You watched me at the falconry lessons. Then he could hurt you. No, he won't. He's friendly. The white raven is a symbol of her house, darling. I think it'd be bad luck not to take it with us. Yes! Mirjam is right. Oh. If both of you say so. Edgar. I remember now why you always torment my brother. You held a grudge against Tristan from the moment you met, didn't you? I suppose we are alike in more ways than just our white hair and feathers. Oh my Jesus, there are a lot of names in here. So Dythard, that one was already done. House. Ernest von Heimdall, the man that was my mortal enemy, a candle carved by me will amount to nothing. Okay, yeah, those are probably gonna be nothing. Now we leave. And so for the first time in many, many years, Tristram donned his armor and picked up his sword. Followed the rumors until at last he found where the beast nested. To his horror, it was a place familiar to him. The same field his army had marched across a very long time ago. And at its center, a great hulking iron beast stood. Its form was long and twisted, its skin was made of steel, its limbs were claws as sharp as spear tips, its teeth were rows of long, long knives. Tristram's men fell one by one. The last one sacrificed himself, so his master could plunge his sword deep into the creature's throat through its hollow chest. But the beast showed no pain, it shed no blood. Its heart had no beat, for it was dead to begin with. As Tristram despaired, the Revenant showed him no mercy. The king was never seen again, but some say after that day, 2 Revenants stalked those bloody fields. One with a face like a cracked knight's visor, the other with an iron crown atop its head. Golden light softly scattered by stained glass, warm voices borrowed silks, flowers. For the first time you can remember the scent of flowers mixes with incense and melting wax. You're not sure what they're called, but they're golden like her eyes. Gold like the thin band you carry up toward them that glints like a ring of sunlight. Your brother slips it over her finger as easily as a promise whispered, but it weighs like an oath kept. Both of them had returned from the king's tourney as champions, he taking the melee and archery prizes, she achieving victory in the joust. Their ample winnings should have covered much more than a veil and a pair of rings. Yet she wears one of your mother's old dresses, a simple white gown with yellow flowers stitched over the collar and sleeves, while your brother's doublet is a little too small, just barely lacing over his tunic. His silk stash and brass belt were borrowed as well. Your family gains another member today, and not all are present to witness it. Your father's not here to see this joy. Your heart is so light, you almost don't notice it. The only thing on your mind is the happiness on their faces, and the love and warmth that surround them, brighter than any candle. I always forget which direction is what. As you look at the portrait, a sudden warmth ebbs through your cuirass. A song-like laugh rings through your helm. For a moment, the gashes in the steel feel whole. When the feeling fades, a trace of that warmth still lingers. You pause and utter a silent prayer for the fallen knight. Wherever are you found your way beyond the sunless sea? You step through the threshold, into an expanse of moonlight pouring onto blood-stained stone. The air is heavy like it was before. Moving through this space feels like like wading through knee-deep waters. I missed that last word. Voices tangle like reeds around you, grazing your greaves and sabatons. But the candlestick, with its three flickering lights, glows brightly. You hold it high and wade across. A few steps in, where a familiar sensation floats by you, but it quickly passes. You pause for a moment to look about. Nothing apart from the bodies in ruin look back at you. You shake your pauldrons, then walk forward again. Midway through the hall, you swear that a flash of movement flits across your visor. You turn, but still nothing is there. If you could feel cold, a chill would run through your armor. You hold on to the candlestick and move forward again. Near the end of the hall, you freeze as a soft sensation lands on your shoulder. The gentle touch of a ghostly feather, of ghostly feathers graze your visor. The suit isn't very shiny anymore, but I know a bird who loved to use armor as his perch. Is it you, my friend? The presence flits onto your helmet, then off again, leaving the air around you lighter. The last few steps pass with ease, as you find yourself in the entry hall, worn but unscathed. I remember when I was small, my brother, or was it her, yelled at me not to touch this. Not that a young child would have been able to reach it. Now, though, the handcrake is so old and weathered, you feel it would indeed be wise to not lay your gauntlet upon it. It's time to see if she appears. You begin to trek toward her chambers, one gauntlet on the candlestick, and the other splintered wooden staff hanging on your belt. You loosen your grip as the seconds pass. I'm being ridiculous. I have little to fear right now. So you say, but still you scan the shadows as you walk. Soon enough, her door comes into view. You approach it slowly. It's wide open, just as you left it, gaping into darkness. It's her. She's still here. You won't take another child from me again. Another one again? What? Mirjam. Oh, my right click is being weird and double clicking. I'm like, why does it keep double flicking there? I'm not here to take anything from you. I only want to understand. You still don't understand. That's kind of the... Leave. There's nothing here I can take from you. Tristan, Margaret, and my brother. They're all beyond the sea. They're not here anymore. I can't leave. What? Tristan forgot him. Nobody's left to remember him but me. He didn't forget. He wrote it in his last letters for you. You fish through your satchel for the pages, holding them close to the candlelight. You find the final letter and read it aloud. I will always be the boy who kissed your hand under the moonlight, the man whose breastplate you pinned a rose to, the father of the child whom you gave my name to, whose memory I keep in my heart always forever. I haven't changed. All I want is a new beginning and a new life with you. I love you. Yours forever and true, Tristan. He didn't forget. He didn't abandon us. No! No, he didn't. She's gone. Farewell, Mirjam. The candles you still hold on to flicker brighter for a moment. Wisps of their smoke unfold softly in the air. Holding the candlestick aloft, you step through the doorway. That is a big sword. A few dusty tomes sit on an abandoned shelf. Diaries you realize upon closer inspection. There are only a few here. The oldest is from when she and Tristan were squires. The spines turn their backs to you, as if that could keep their tantalizing secrets out of reach. You could at least pretend to feel guilty about it. I want to know. How did things end? Look, the curiosity to understand. And how does she truly feel about me? You pick up the oldest volume and turn the grimy, faded pages. Someone was in my room when I wasn't there. They left a gift on my bed. How did they get in? I'm scared to close my eyes. Scared of monsters hiding in the shadows, just waiting for me to fall asleep. I'm so frightened. Mother, father, why does this happen to me? Tristan doesn't let me go anywhere alone after I told him. I can't believe I used to hate him back when we were children. Back before I really knew him. He's like a big protective puppy. I'm glad he's my friend. Why does that man get to hurt us? Why doesn't anyone stop him? It's wrong. It's not fair. It's all my fault. If I hadn't told Tristan, he wouldn't have been hurt. What kind of monster does that to his own son? Are we less than animals to him? I try not to cry when I sit beside Tristan in the sickbed. I try, but it's my fault. It's all my fault. I don't even deserve to feel sorry when he's the one suffering. He'll probably never see with that eye again. If the blade had gone any deeper, he would be dead. And then I'd be dead too, because I'd rather die than be alone in this world again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I wonder if wicked things happen to me because I have a wicked soul. If I was good, then surely none of this would be happening. Ah, if only the world were so simple. Then maybe you would still be alive, Mother and Father. Then my best friend wouldn't be hurt and everyone else would leave me alone. I tried to tell myself I wouldn't anymore, but I have to do it. I have to be the one who punishes me. Tristan caught me when I was changing the bandages. I'm the one who's been taking care of him. I know how to dress a wound, so I use the supplies they gave me. That way no one would notice, but he did. He's in so much pain, but all he thought about was me. He was hurt so badly already, but he still made me take out my dagger and swear a blood pact with him. The world will hurt us, but stating this blade will be the last time we ever hurt each other, we said. But why won't the world stop hurting us? Why can't it leave us alone? I can't sleep in my own room anymore. I started staying by Tristan's bedside all night and eventually stopped returning to my own. I just couldn't bear to be alone, and couldn't leave him alone either. If I don't hold on to his hand, I'm afraid he'll slip away. I've never been so afraid. That man never came to visit. The commander made some half-hearted attempt at an apology, but he acted like it was Tristan's fault for getting hurt. I wanted to tear out both his eyes and feed them to the crows. One day I'll make him regret everything he's done. Him and the Marquise. The Marquise ignores me now. I think I made him uneasy reminding him of what happened. He deserves to feel all the guilt and shame in the world for what he did. I hope he never forgets. Every time he looks at his own son's face, I hope he feels a fraction of the pain that Tristan had to suffer. No further entries are legible. You reach for the next oldest tome, dated 3 years later. That man invited me to go hunting with him. He started sending me things again. Merciful spirits, it's happening all over again. I don't want to go. I don't want this. Why does he have to look at me that way? I'm already a loyal servant as far as he's concerned. Oh, why can't that be enough for him? Tristan promised he'd find a way to come with me. I'm thankful for that. But how can he be so astute in some areas and so unbelievably dense in others? I told him I liked him a lot, and he replied with a smile. I like you too. I'm glad you're my friend. Then he went right back to reading his blasted expected levels of missing the signs. If only I were just fair enough to catch his attention and nobody else's. He kissed me. A kiss on the hand, but still a kiss. I don't know what to feel. I'm happy I am, but part of me feels nothing but uncertainty. I hate everything about this place except for him. But he promised me Lady Vivian, but he'd watch over his sister, and I know he loves that child. Well, I have to choose between him and my own path one day. I can't. Since I lost you, Mother, Father, he's all I have. I know you raised me to be modest, Mother, Father, but our little manor on the hill was an entirely different world from Castle Greywall. The meek die here like the mouse under the eagle's talon. They call me awful things because that's all they can do. It doesn't feel good to know that they leave me alone because I'm his. But it does feel good to taunt them with what they can't have. And I love him so much. It's a shame in showing it. You skim over the minutiae of daily life and training. Angry complaints about serving the commander and the other knights, which make up a third of the entries. Such depictions about your brother's beauty, kindness, and soft lips, alongside affectionate mocking of his less than ideal traits. The next oldest volume you can find is dated 6 years later. Our night in ceremony has gone and went. I'm addressed by dame now, not girl, not you, not lenter. I don't want to think about what I owe that man. I am a knight, and I stand among the greatest of the kingdom. Whatever chain he binds me with, I will break them. The road here was far from easy, but the future lies ahead for both of us. Tristan. Sir Tristan. That title suits him. He has always been my hero, but above all my partner. The other half of my soul. Though I don't know how much longer that may be. There's a distance now that wasn't there before. I don't know what changed. I don't know what I've done wrong. Have I been too much, too little? Why won't he kiss me good morning? Why does he hesitate to hold my hand? I can sense there's something he wants to ask me. Some matter he wishes to speak of. But no matter how many chances I give him, he won't open his heart to me. Part of me is glad, part of me doesn't want to know if what I feel most is about to be true. Fear most is about to be true. The great tournament was a whirlwind. I don't even know where to begin. I'll start with the most important thing. I'm betrothed now. My beloved is going to be my husband. You take note of several hearts and smiling suns drawn over the page. Adorable. The Southerners are a sentimental sort. Oh. In the north, when one wins a round of the jousts, he salutes his opponent and waits until his next round. In the south, he's given a red rose, told to remove his helmet, parade around like a peacock, and present the fair flower to the fairest maiden of his eye. The nonsense of it all. Tournaments are mock battles, not pages from ballads. But if it shows what they want, why shouldn't I give it to them? I wore my hair loose, not in a braid. A trial to fit it in my helmet, but it was worth it. When my tresses tumbled down my back to 1,000 gasps from the crowd, my beloved was to ride in the round after me. I took the rose I was given, trotted around the field, then returned to where he waited atop Snowflower's saddle. There, I pinned the rose to his breastplate and kissed the top of his helmet. A surprise in his eye beneath his visor. I was afraid he would fumble his match, but thank the spirits he didn't. When he won, he presented me with his own rose, but he refused to take off his helmet. He later told me he was blushing so deeply he feared his face was far redder than the flower. I didn't see him afterwards until the banquet that evening, where he avoided me throughout the night, but I could feel his eye lingering, watching me with the deepest misery. Before the final hour, I confronted him. Had I humiliated him, or was his coldness because he no longer loved me? His reaction was one of such anguish. He looked as if a dagger through his heart would hurt less than my words. No, 1,000 times no. Then you love me, but you don't wish to see me, I said. You want me as a mistress, not a bride. I want to marry you now as much as I have for the past 7 summers, but... He trailed off, not meeting my eyes. You're Lord Lenter's niece. You deserve to be the lady of a castle, a countess or a baroness. I stopped him right there. You say I deserve this, I deserve that, but have you thought to ask what I want? Don't I deserve to be with a man that I love? I had to speak the rest of my words through tears. I don't want to be the wife of some gilded noble. I want to be with you. I'm a knight with no lands and no name. And that's enough for me. Am I not enough for you? That's when he kissed me twice, dropped to his knees, and proposed right on the spot. You are more than I'll ever be worthy of. Well, if you'll accept me as I am, then please, be not only my partner, my friend, my comrade in arms, but my wife as well. I confessed that I was crying so much I barely heard him. I asked him to repeat himself. I just gave you a declaration of my undying love, and you weren't listening? Ask me again, you idiot. Dear Miriam, my sweet Miri. Will you marry me? Of course I said yes. He had no ring, so he plucked a flower from the gardens and tied it around my finger. I've pressed it in a book to keep it safe. Thinking about how it happened mere hours ago, my heart is so full and warm I feel as if I've swallowed the sun. My joy feels limitless. I can't stop smiling. Spirits, I need to start practicing my needlework, don't I? The next entry starts on a much sourer note. As soon as I begin to feel joy, the world challenges my happiness. No, not the world. That man. I should be planning my future with love of my life, but the man who owns us remains steadfast in his desire to make our lives a living nightmare. First delaying our knighting ceremony, now this ridiculous dowry. Next he's going to demand my firstborn. I shouldn't doubt. He can go ahead. I don't want a mewling babe and my beloved, my betrothed now. Vows never to pass on his sire's blood. Well, knowing how that goes... Then takes up all the time we'd have for a child anyhow. She's 10 now and follows me everywhere like a lost kitten. She won't go to sleep unless I read to her either. I don't dislike it. She's truly a sweet thing when she isn't so headstrong. Still, what have we ever done to deserve her father's ire besides existing in front of him? Thankfully, Tristan knows just what to say to lift my spirits and give me hope that one day we will have our freedom. He's so good to me, Mother. You would love teasing him and Father. You'd never meet a more honest soul. I know that he speaks to you in his prayers. I hope you love him as I do. It took every penny from our tournament winnings, but we are finally wed. I'm so happy it feels senseless to pen this. How can all the ink in the world hold even a drop of the joy I feel? I thought I would have to forgo everything but the ceremony itself, but Sir Norbert, Robin, and Lord Heimdall, among others, pooled their coin together at the last moment to rent out an inn. And there was dancing and drinking all night long. The husband is lying asleep beside me now. Oh, the bliss I feel when I gaze upon him know no bounds. I'm so blessed to spend the rest of my life with him. Spirits, let me never forget this joy. Well, we skip over several pages documenting their honeymoon in detail. Details you'd rather not read. Nerd. Yeah, we can along with the beginnings of married life and their new duties as knights. The elation and determination in the earlier entries begin to deplete as the pages go on. Hydration time. The next volume you can find is dated 5 years later. Returning to the capital each year for the joust means returning to the abyss of the Southern Court. And an abyss it is. I write this now as the evening's banquet approaches, so as to not lose my mind. The court. Replace marches with dances, armor with frills and ruffs, swords with sharp words, and you have a battlefield concealed behind high walls and velvet curtains. My beloved is far better at these games than I am. I would take the company of enemy arrows over courtesies any day. The nobles love to talk, and talk is a way of reaching one's ears whether one wishes to hear it, or whether or not one wishes to hear it. They call me glory-hungry, but for a knight with no fief, war is the only chance one has to earn his wage. They call me greedy, but my home, my parents, and my future were all taken from me. How can I be greedy when I covet nothing more than what my younger self once had? They call me vain, But when I cut my hair and made myself as small and ugly as could be, they still leered and tried to touch me. Ugh. Why shouldn't I grow it long and scent it with rose petals then? The simplest of my joys is to spend my evening brushing it while the snow falls outside my window, or letting it stream in the wind when I ride on Freyr's back, or feeling my beloved run his fingers through it when our lips and bodies meet. Why should I deny myself these blessings for fear of vanity? They call me a harlot, but I'm guilty of tempting only one man, my poor sweet husband, whose innocent soul I have stained with my own, whom I have brought into my own debt and depravity. He is the one who deserves to be a counter-baron, not bound by oath to a lowly knightess like me. I don't deserve his love. I'm greedy, I'm selfish, I'm vain to think I could ever deserve to stand beside him. Would he be happier without me? Perhaps it's a blessing that I am so friendless and unlovable then. If I am aloof, he may be seen as gentle. If I am icy, he may be warm. If I am brash and careless, he may be calm and tactful. What a pair we make. I, who was born von Lintner, and can't make heads or tails of the court, and he, who was branded from birth by shame, yet more noble in character, more sharp of mind, more patient and poised in bearing than the highest of the nightborn. Spirits, I need to prepare for that blasted banquet now. It may be the height of spring, but I've only brought dresses with collars up to the chain and sleeves that button down to the cuffs. Let them get the habit of an uncultured Norther. I don't care. But better that than showing them my scars. As I get older, I often think about you both, mother and father. Oh, control skip apparently. I think about my life, and where I want to go, and how bleak my chances are. I want to settle somewhere far away, somewhere with sunlight, somewhere peaceful. Like your old manor in the hill. Most would be surprised to hear it. I may be the first volunteer to fight, but war, not peacetime, is the only chance we have to earn a real wage. My husband hates killing, but the thought of ransoming other knights fills him with almost as much despair. He hates the idea that some might never see their families again. The bards call him the model of chivalry, a paragon of the battlefield, but idealism doesn't pay off debts. I think about when I was small, when it was the three of us, mother braiding my hair and teaching me letters, father teaching me to ride a horse and wield a sword. The happiness we knew because we had each other. He has been everything to me since I lost you. A friend, companion, defender, and partner. But he is only one person. Is it selfish of me to want more? I didn't plan for this to happen. We're careless. I'm worried and frightened, but beneath it all is joy. I haven't known in a long time. I can only pray he'll be happy too, that his mind will change, that his love for me won't... Surely this won't be a threat to Lind. She's almost grown. She'll be a loving aunt, won't she? He acted as if this was my fault, as if half the blame wasn't his. It was a week ago that he found out. Since then, he's come around. He's sweet again. Sweeter. I've never felt so pampered in my life. But I'll never forget that look of fear in his eyes. Not in 20 years, not in an abyss of blood-soaked battlefield where the ravens feast on men have I seen that look on his face before. We've begun to think of names. We've argued on Vivian or Margaret for a girl, but my beloved always changes the subject when it comes to the names for a boy. I've joked that we'll simply have to call our son Tristan too. The days pass so peacefully here. I'm so thankful. We left for Rimegrave before winter began. That we escaped being trapped at Greywall under the eye of that monster. Who knows what he would do to us or our child had we remained. I'm thankful that Ron is with us. Growing up with a gaggle of younger siblings teaches you a thing or two about dealing with expectant mothers, it seems. Why did my brain just dyslexia or whatever non-diagnosed dyslexia against the word expectant? Things that I know. Things that I know you would show me if only you were here, Mother. Why did this happen? Why now? This place was supposed to be safe over winter. What madness would drive Ostar to attack now? I never dreamt my child would be born under siege. Mother, Father, spirits, please, I beg you, keep us safe. We have a boy. Oh, blessed spirits, I have a son. We call him Tristan after his father. Tristan Leitner. He was born 7 days ago. I haven't had the strength to lift a pen until now. He's so small in my arms. He's small but stubborn. He takes after me. I know he's trying his hardest to live. I'm trying to do the same, but I'm so tired. I try to hide it from my husband, but I'm still in so much pain. But his mind is elsewhere. Elsewhere when he's with us. My baby won't nurse, he won't cry. It still hurts. It hurts to breathe, it hurts to move. I'm so cold, I can feel the end coming. My darling, don't be afraid. Your mother won't let you cross the sunless sea alone. But his father, the man who says he loves me, is nowhere to be seen. Where are you, Tristan? Why aren't you here? When I need you the most, why? The next few pages are stained and unreadable. You flip to the next legible entry you can find. Why am I alive? I should be dead, not him. Why? And how does he have the gall to weep after abandoning us? He's left me once again. The enemy has fled, but the war continues. Our son's ashes have barely cooled, and all he thinks of is fighting. Stay and get well, he said. How? Even if my broken body can someday stand again, how can my heart ever mend? The remains of this place are as crumbled as my heart. His letters hardly come. Their brief, hurried scrawls on parchment scraps with ink that barely dried before being sealed. Am I not worth the time to write you? Are you safe? Are you hurt? You keep promising you'll return, but you never do. I miss you so much I can't bear it. Do you miss me? Does serving your duty ease the burden of leaving me behind? Is a burden all I am to you? Come back, please. I beg of you. I'm well enough now to tend the horses. The few that remain, anyway. I need something to do. Something to occupy my mind. Something to keep me from grasping for a blade or a bottle. Freya, my trusted steed is gone. Snowflower is too. We were starving then. Did he butcher them? We used to go riding together as squires in the forest surrounding the castle. Oh, don't mind my stretch real quick. Ugh. We would imagine we were free. Free to roam wherever we wished. Would you have liked riding, my darling? Would you be afraid at first like I was? Would you tremble as you gripped your reins, barely able to listen while I showed you how to guide your steed? Would your father follow carefully, ready to catch you if you slipped your saddle? Or do I keep imagining things that can never be? Lord Heimdall remains here as well, forced by the king to convalesce. We both know it's to keep him from intervening in their plans for peace. This is how the mighty reward their pawns. My husband is just another piece in their hands. They're going to use him and sacrifice him when they no longer need him. Why can't he see? What is so precious about duty? I don't know what I would do if not for Lord Ernest. It's been so freeing being able to talk with him. To know that at last someone understands me. He too has lost sons and carries too many scars to count. It's been a comfort for once in my life to not have to pretend to be fearless. To not have to hide my weakness in front of others, lest I am seen as feeble and unworthy of being that I am. I've rarely been one to frequent the chapel, but every single day now I pray for my little one's soul and his father's safety. Mother and father, and all the spirits of the beyond, watch over him, I beg of you. Spirits, what have I done? Every awful word uttered about me is true. I weep every day because I mourn my child and fear for my husband. But I do this while he's gone. I hate myself. I can't. I've been so alone. Hello for it. We shared a drink to share our miseries. That's all it was supposed to be. Why did I cry into his chest? Why did I let him hold me? Why didn't I stop him when he kissed me? Oh. I wish the spirits would take me. I wish I had died when my child did. I want my husband and son back. I want my parents back. I want my life back. No. I wish I never lived at all. The next page is a mess of dark stains. You can't tell if they're ink or blood. For it, on a scale of 1 to her, who I'm reading about right now, how are you holding up? You skip to the next legible entry. I can't tell Tristan. He'll only blame himself, though I'm the one to be blamed. He'll hate himself for leaving me alone with Ernest. Lord Heimdall has been his mentor for over a decade. He's like a father he never had. I can't turn one of the few people in this world he trusts into his enemy. It's all my fault. Ah, not all the way. Yeah, there we go. Hug. Hug and aggressive patting. I can't confess, but neither can I live with this guilt. I'm a failure of a wife, a failure of a mother, a failure of even the thing I worked so hard for my entire life. How can I call myself a knight now? A knight is brave and honorable, not a traitorous, cowardly, pathetic wretch like me. The only one that can punish me is myself. This penance is my only salvation. Heimdall has been called to the vanguard. I avoid him since the incident. But this morning he wrote me a note asking to see me once more. I should have ignored it. I should have torn it to shreds. He apologized to me. He said that both Tristan and I would have a place by his hearth should we ever choose to leave Greywall. Choose? In what world would the Marquis give us the choice to escape his yoke? My nightmares have been unbearable. Before the incident, before he left, Lord Heimdall shared with me a herb to soothe sleep, with a stern warning of its dangers. Never mix this with wine, and do not come to rely on it. It's dangerous if overused. Would it be so wrong to ignore that warning now? Would it be so wrong to slip into oblivion? Damn this. Damn it all to the sunless sea. I didn't survive this bloody war on every battlefield before it just to end like this. I didn't lose my parents, my comrades, and my son just so I could shame them by dying in my sleep. Tristan and I can still be happy. I can still fix everything. In my heart, I have to believe it. Even if every other part of me knows it's a lie, I have to try. No matter what it costs. That was a very long diary peeping scene. Your caress hangs heavy with the weight of ink and confession. Whatever you feel, anger, hurt, betrayal, pity, or understanding, you leave it to rest there. The time will come to let it pour forth. A small set of drawers piled high with various bottles. Oils, rose water, and tonics you glean from the faded labels. It, like the rest of the room, is a mess. You open the drawers and find more bottles and jars, most containing long, rotted leaves and herbs. Remedies she used to brew, flower petals she would add, with them or crush and mix with beeswax to make lip rouge. At the very back of the drawer is a small clay jar wrapped in a torn piece of stained linen. You reach for it. Small letters scratched crudely on its side. You hold it up to candlelight and read them. They spell a name. Tristan. This isn't a jar. Not the time, but I had an envisionment of why did she have a jar for her husband? It's an urn. Oh, nope, it's the urn for the child. The remains of your nephew rest before you, swaddled in a scrap of the same linen that once comforted him in life. You're far away beyond the sea, aren't you? Your mother doesn't need to protect you anymore. There's someplace else your memory can rest and still be close to her. The small object is heavy, but manages to fit snugly in your quite full satchel, blanketed by both pieces of the linen she once crudely yet carefully embroidered. You make sure it's safe, then step away. As your gaze falls on the bottles, you can almost imagine the smell of rose petals and powder drifting from them, the scent of her hair. It calls to mind a memory of a small girl squirming impatiently as a young woman with scarred hands sits behind her, plaiting the silky, silvery hair into looping braids with fine blue ribbons woven in between them. You let it linger as if the familiar smells from the jars might waft over you once again. But the only scent you can carry now is a perfume of dust and decay. Pages containing a young girl's fears, a woman's hopes, and a mother's despair. Love, loss, penance, and regret fill the ink, gouged into parchment by the blade of a pen. The shadow of a name of a man lurks over the sorry tale. The Marquis. Father. I normally try to be the forgiving type, but at this point, perhaps it was easier to see now that you're both dead and, well, in your case, not quite gone. Now that you're not a naive young girl anymore. Now that you've learned to regret how you treated your own child. Now, whatever this, a claymore sleeps upon an unmade bed. That is a big sword. Abandoned clothing lies strewn about the floor. You know well that this was not the doing of any pillager or beast. I'd forgotten how disorganized she could be. My brother was ever the conscientious one. Her habits were as unrefined as her nature. I often wondered how my brother came to love someone who was the complete opposite of him. Never having given my heart to anyone, I still can't say I understand it. The claymore, a brittle two-handed sword, modeled on those described in the times of legend. They were her weapon of choice. I can only imagine why. It was so precious to her, she held on to it even as she slept. This is what she was guarding so fiercely. My nephew's ashes. This is why she didn't let me pass. May he be at peace. I'll head back to my brother's room now. Now that I can scrape the thing from under the bed. You exit the room and return to the hall, as old memories and new revelations linger in your cuirass, weighing down your habitants every step. The candles you carry kept the dark at bay, until the center one, your brother's, grows brighter and brighter, its light devouring all you can see. The castle walls still surround you, but now you look upon them in daytime, clear of dust and cobwebs. You look around. A long hall stretches on, filled with pairs of doors that face the other, so that each entryway is forced to gaze upon its mirror. Down this mirrored hall, a pair of voices echo, entwined. Two men standing face one another. One a lowly knight, the other a noble lord he serves. Yet for a world of difference in wealth, investments, the same blood runs through their veins. The same blue eye in the face of one could find its twin in the gaze of the other. The knight, your brother, holds a letter in his hand, marked with your father's seal. Would you care to explain this missive to me, my lord? What is there to explain, boy? You're to be married to Lord Ebner's youngest daughter. Gather your things and prepare to leave Greywall. It seems the poor girl became smitten with you from a single glance. You're lucky you take after me. And doubly lucky that the Baron has allowed it in spite of your lowly birth. I thank you for both the generosity. Thank you both for the generosity, my lord. But there's already someone else I wish to. Do not be a fool, boy. You'll become nobility through this marriage. I'll even be generous and allow you to take that red-haired wench with you. Allow me? Meerschaum is not something I can carry around with me like an object. And you would send your son to his nephew... And you would send your son to his new wife's home with a mistress in tow? Unlike you, I am a knight, my lord. Unlike you, honor and integrity mean something to me. I will not hear your excuses. I've already promised you to her father. I am not a thing for you to barter. You are mistaken. Oh. You are mistaken. You do belong to me. Everything you've ever touched, from the air you breathe to the clothes on your back, is thanks to my generosity. That includes your very life. So listen to me, boy. This is for your own good. You've never treated me like a son. Don't pretend to act like my father now. You dare disobey me, child. In no one's eyes am I your child, my lord. You have no right to meddle with my family. Family? You want to cling to your true love so badly? You're so certain you'll have a happy life together. Fine. As your liege lord, I'll allow it, if you can replace the dowry Lord Ebner promised me. Why? Speak up, boy. Why do you do this, father? Why at every turn do you deny me a glimpse of any happiness? I've served you my... Oh wait, no, wrong voice. I've served you my entire life. I've tried to bring honor upon your house. I've tried, but nothing pleases you. Why, my lord? You don't deserve happiness. You don't deserve even to breathe. You don't deserve to ask anything of me, pity, mercy, or compassion, after you stole everything from me. What? After you stole everything from me? The sum was forced to pay father was a dowry. That's why they lived so humbly despite their fame. That's why my brother couldn't even wear a fitted doublet to his own wedding. Why she wore no jewelry beside her wedding ring and a single amber pendant. By all means, the cost should have been impossible. But still he paid it, and would be burdened by it for the rest of his life. You curl your finger plates into a palm. Hold on, what? I misread that. Oh, your finger plates into a fist. Wow, that was mere. How dare you? How dare you, father? How dare you tell my brother he deserves no happiness or mercy? He deserves all the joy in the world. If I could have given it to him, I would. You shake yourself, then continue down the hall. The walls around you dark and dim, then dusty once more. The candlelight flickers faintly again as you go. Let's see if I can reach the papers now. You free the staff from your sash and carefully crouch down beside the bed. With one arm propped on the floor for balance, you hold the long piece of wood in the other. Oh, excuse me. You prod and push the bundle of parchment underneath the bed with the splintered end of the rod until it finally comes within reach. There. With the treasure in your grasp, you pull it into the light. The pages are old and worn, tied with a faded blue ribbon that you impatiently tug off. On the very top of the first page were 2 short words written in a familiar hand. Dear Lynn. Dear Lynn, I hope these words never reach you. I wrote them down because I do not know when I'll leave the living shore, and a man risks his eternal peace to leave his regrets unsaid. Mary lies beside me asleep. Every night I gaze on her face and trace the line of her cheek, fearful that it will be the last. I write these words not to her, because should she die before me, I plan to throw myself upon her pyre. I promise you, it is not because I love you any less. I am simply a coward through and through. I know that one day you'll want answers, and if I'm not there to tell them, then perhaps these words might do so in my stead. Though my greatest hope is that you never find them at all, because I know they will not bring you any joy. When I was a boy, I dreamt of running away. I dreamt that I would take a horse, I did not know how to ride one then, and gallop away to the cathedral at Kingsfield, where the vessels tend their candles day and night. I would join them, I thought, and spend my life in prayer in the ash and dark. And because the vessels were kind, they would surely let me stay there even though I was a boy. If I kept my hair long and my face smooth, no one would notice, I thought. Needless to say, I never ran. When I was 11, my liege lord returned from Highwall with a girl. She was filthy and had ruddy hair roughly cropped at the chin. Her clothes looked as if they once were fine, but were now dirty and yeah, either way, stained and sooty. She barely spoke more than a word at a time, but her eyes pierced her surroundings like she could cut them with a gaze. And that is how she always looked at me. Even so, I couldn't stop staring back. Finally, I knew that someone else hated this place, and that man, as much as I did. That man made me a page to Dythard Dressler. It was supposed to be an honor. In reality, it meant I was a servant to a vain and selfish knight who wouldn't recognize chivalry if it speared him through the throat. It meant for the better part of my years, I was humiliated, worked to the bone, tormented for his pleasure, and punished for the slightest mistake or misdeed. But damn it if I didn't give it my all. I was determined to become a better knight than he could ever be. A better knight. Than one for whom there was no cruelty too deep to inflict on children in the name of discipline. The girl was a knight's daughter. Her father had taught her the sword as soon as she could hold one. That didn't make it easier for her. One lowly page was a thorn in our teacher's side. 2 only doubled his cruelty, as if it would kill him to dilute his venom between us. Our shared misdeeds didn't warm her to me. Our shared miseries didn't warm her to me. She hated me just as much as she hated everyone else, and took every opportunity to tell me it. One day I found her hiding in the storage room among the training weapons. I quietly joined her. She glared at me with dagger eyes as we sat there in silence. Why do you hate me? I finally asked. You're that man's son, she said, like I was a fool for not knowing something so obvious. I laughed. What's so funny? You're the first person to hate me for the noble half of my blood, I said with a genuine smile. You know that smiling rarely comes naturally to me. Water. It was the same when I was a child, but on that day I beamed. Something about that moment transformed me in her eyes, and gradually after that I found I had made my first true friend. We were opposites, but that only drew us closer together. It was as if We were pieces built to complement one another, two sides of a coin. I grew up in a bustling castle where I hid myself in shadows. She grew up in the wild hillside of her uncle's lands and spent her days running under sun and snow. I was quiet and withdrawn, and took my time to think before I spoke. She was bold and as quick-tongued as she was quick-witted. Vivian came into our lives when we were 12. She arrived in a carriage pulled by 6 white horses, with an entourage of maidservants, grooms, and knights trailing behind her. Her long flaxen hair fell to her ankles and shone like fields of summer, or so I imagined. At the time I had never seen the plains of Kingsfield with my own eyes. She did not look surprised when she saw me. Somehow she knew me by name. I did not trust the kindness she offered me at first, and neither did Mirjam. We were sure she was wicked beneath her gentle features, like all the adults who associated with that man were. Our ickiness would have scared away any other lady acting out of charity or pity. Not her. In her I found a mother I never knew, and Mirjam found one she had lost. Every day, Lynn, you resemble her more and more. Forgive me for what I'm about to tell you. I am not the only product of that man's indiscretions, though I am his only son as far as I'm aware. I believe that alone is what made him keep me. Marriage did not change his habits in the years that followed, neither did Vivian's growing belly. Even when you were newly born, and your mother's ashes barely cooled, did he look to his next conquest. Lynn, I love you. I have loved you since the moment I first saw you. You were red-faced, wrinkled, and wailing. I thought it amazing how you could be so small yet so loud. Mirjam said you were the most horrendous thing she had ever seen, but she finally ceased crying when she held you. You're more than just my baby sister. You're as precious to me as my own heart. I was 15 when you were born, 3 years shy of being a man, yet I swore at that moment that I would protect you and care for you even if your own father never did. They were powerful words from a powerless boy who could not even protect himself. Mary and I were changing. I had spent the last 2 springs shooting up like a tree trunk, to her chagrin, and was still growing. I no longer looked like a girl, nor did I wish to, but I kept my hair long due to habit. The heroes in the old tales had long locks or warriors' braids anyway. As for Mary, I always thought she had a beautiful spirit. You could see it if you look in her eyes. A piece of her fearlessness and burning passion would always show through. I thought that her spirit's vessel was becoming just as beautiful too. I wasn't the only one to notice. It was more than the other squires who started to give her looks. It was the knights too, and above them. Sorry, I can't continue writing this now. The fear these memories bring me. I should retire now. Spirits know I need the rest. The handwriting ends in a messy blotch of ink, as if your brother fell asleep right as he penned it. You look for the next page where the account continues. If you're ever lucky enough to share your life with the other half of your soul, then I hope you'll understand that all I've done and all I continue to do. Let me return now to that awful time. Mirjam could ignore the looks. She could be modest and hold fast to her innocence. But that man's attentions did not wane. You were not even a year old then. I saw the beautiful spirit I admired begin to wilt. I saw that dauntless soul grow fearful at shadows and jump at the slightest touch. She assured me it was only gifts and words and looks. Only gifts and words and looks, nothing more. But that man didn't deserve to look at her. I confronted him. I had gone close to his height, and had trained myself not to tremble. I use words that I will not repeat here, nor will I immortalize what he said to me. All that matters was that, for that blasted disrespect I avowed to my liege lord that day, I would be punished. I've told you that I lost my eye in a training accident. It was an accident, and it was done to teach me a vital lesson. That chivalry and honor are found not just in justice, but obedience. I was to duel my teacher, a seasoned knight, with live steel. I was 15, but because I was young, and my heart full to the brim with anger and a feeling I could not name at the time, there was no room left for fear. I fought with everything I had, with a fury I had never shown before. And for a split second, I saw the terror flash through my teacher's face, as it looked like I might kill him, until he brought his sword down on mine with such force. The blade shattered and struck my face. What happened afterwards was a daze. I saw Miri leap forward, putting her body between me and the commander, standing dumbfounded with a broken blade. I heard that man scream, "You have killed my son!" That is when I laughed. I gritted my teeth and laughed so much as I cried through the pain. "Cease your shouting, father. I am not dead. Is the lesson over already?" And then my consciousness slipped from me. I woke up to Miri crying over my bed, my face wrapped in bandages and blistering with pain. It burnt like fire beneath my eyes. My entire head pounded like it would split in two. "I hate him. I hate you. Never do that for me again," she said in between sobs. "It's not your fault, Mary." I tried to laugh, but I'm sure it sounded more like a dying animal. "It's better that it happened to me. You're too pretty to have a scar like this." "You can't die before me, idiot," she sniffled. "I'm not going to die. I mean it. If you die, I'll follow you." Those words hurt me more than the bloody wound on my face. "Don't say that, please. I have nobody left in the entire world except for you, Tristan. If you don't want me to die, then live, damn you." I realized then that Miri, just like you, was my anchor. That without her, my world would drift apart. I wouldn't be able to name the confusing, muddled multitudes of what I felt as love until much later. How could 4 letters possibly contain the infinite depths and contours of what it means to bare your soul to another? Love's a gem with 1,000 facets, Lynn. It's the happiness I feel when I hear you laugh, the bittersweet pride in seeing how quickly you've grown, the worry when you're sick, and the sorrow when your letters arrive saying how much you miss me. I miss you just as much, if not more. When the bandages came off, the sight in my right eye was gone. I adjusted quickly enough. I didn't need 2 eyes to use a bow, and a helmet limits every warrior's sight. I had a scar that all other squires envied as much as they taunted me for. When I looked in the mirror, I could barely recognize myself. I suddenly looked far older than 15. In the years to come, I would earn many more scars. But I hated the first. It was a reminder that I let another man mark me. That I didn't have the power to protect myself, let alone that which I held most dear. I was 16 when I first rode into battle alongside the commander. The excitement when we set off was enough to make me forget that soon I would bloody my hands with the guts and entrails of my fellow men. I was fitted for armor for the first time, a full suit from helmet to sabaton. The sheer awe from the way it fit and moved with me. The pride I felt, as if I were a true knight. How quickly that burnished steel would feel like a cage. We were headed south to punish rebels who dared disobey the crown. A summer campaign in the thick of a particularly dry and hot season. I was forced to cut my hair, but I saved the strands and fashioned a simple plume from it, not unlike the gaudy feathers that adorn the crested helms of lords who we march with. Who knew that a small act of defiance is what the bards would sing of in years to come? Do you know what happened to Mirjam's father, Lynn? Just 5 years prior to our trek through the south, Ostara launched a short-lived invasion into Lif. Their forces were routed and scattered. The enemy general, wounded, took the guise of a beggar and sought shelter in a small manor inhabited by a kindly knight and his wife and daughter. When he was discovered there, he was drawn and quartered, and the knight and his wife were burnt on the pyre. The Lord of the Lands, Count Leitner, lost his brother and nearly all of his territory thanks to one mislaid act of kindness repaid in blood. For his part in capturing the general, my liege lord was given a quarter of the lands, and from what I'm sure he thought of as mercy, took the knight's young daughter as a servant. I cannot know what Mirjam felt as we marched through the valley and plain in that awful summer heat. She slept fitfully each night with a dagger under her pillow, and a great sword as long as she was tall on one side, while I slept on the other. I had not kissed her even once on the cheek at the time, though I had thought about it plenty. It was no different than when she fell asleep by my sick bed or when I slept on the floor by her door, whenever our master indulged too deeply in his cups. Besides that, we are far too anxious for carnal thoughts. We tailed the rebels to a wooded hill east of the town Kvasir. So Dithard assembled the other lords to plan for battle. I was there only to fill his water skin. The rebels were disorganized and had only evaded the army through luck, he exclaimed. Once forced to confront trained knights in battle, they would crumble like dust. We would meet them head on. That is when I blurted out what I had thought was obvious. To do so would be to hand them every advantage offered by the terrain, and be as good as walking to our deaths. The commander silenced me immediately, but Lord General, Ernest von Heimdall, told me to speak. I pointed out how it was no accident they made their base where it was. To meet them in the open would be to let them harass us from the trees, where our forces of armored knights would have no chance of charging. The upward trek and the thick dust from the dry summer would be of no help either. Lord Heimdall asked what I suggested. I tried to pretend my face wasn't burning and stained as stone cold as I could, and stated as stone cold as I could. Force them from the hills, set fire to the trees. In the end, both knights rejected my plan, one warning me with an amused look of the consequences of careless destruction, and the other incensed that I had the gall to speak at all. The experience would be indicative of my relationship with the two men to come. Whenever we campaigned together, Lord Heimdall would ask for my presence, if only to vex the other lords. Also, Dithard would either belittle my ideas or, later, when I became a knight proper and commanded my own men, take credit for them. The difference is that the first would gradually become the man I could truly call my mentor, and the second would always see me as a thorn in his side. Forgive me, this was supposed to be a confession, not a military chronicle. By 18, Mirjam and I knew that our lives could only forge one path, together. It was a haunting expedition. We were unexpectedly dragged along to where under the moon and woodland sky, she finally told me she loved me. Trying to remember Trail of Stars to see if that's what that was. My memory does not serve me very well, though. She has always been braver than I ever could be. Imagine me wherever you are when you read this, if I am not beside you. I am not the one who displays his affection easily. It's true with both Miri and with you, the two people I adore most in this world. I'm sorry, I've often wished I were a warmer, more open, less cold, less stony man. If I've ever caused you to doubt how precious you are to me, I truly am sorry, Lynn. Lynn, you've asked me why I carved candles for your mother and Miri's, but never my own. Since I was old enough to know I had a mother, and that she was gone, I've wanted nothing more than to carve her name, to speak to her. I begged your father countless times to tell me. Each time the only answer he gave me was with his cane. The only time the man acknowledged my mother's existence was to curse her, or lament himself, but he never relinquished her name. Sometimes I wonder if he ever knew it all. If she was so insignificant to him, he'd forgotten it. Or, if in a drunken stupor, he excised it from his mind like a curse. I don't know which I prefer. Is it even possible to forget the name of someone you once loved? I wanted so much to believe they loved each other, no matter how briefly. Because it meant that even if I was hated now— that's my microphone getting hit by my knee. Sorry, Mike. I was cherished once. Misham tells me that none of it is my fault. Not my mother's death, though it was. Not my father's cruelty and hatred for me, though it must be. Not any of the miseries that were my naming gifts. But above all, I don't ever want you to feel what I do. You were loved, Lynn. Even if that man never loved your mother, nor did she love him, she did love you. I know that Miriam and I can hardly make up for your mother's absence or your father's indifference. I know that she can often lose her patience with you, and that you've had your differences in the past. But we love you so much, Lynn. You're the child we could never have, or the child we could never keep. No children was the rule we agreed on when we married. No child should inherit our debts, nor that man's bloodline. We wanted nothing to come in the way of your succession as his only true-born heir. For many years we kept that vow. Now I write these words to you, but I write them hoping you'll never read them. I'm so afraid. I'm afraid I'll lose both of you. Tristan, meaning sorrow. I was given this name because I killed my own mother. How can I not be afraid that Mira could meet the same fate? How could I live without the light of my life? And if I have a son, an heir, if your father's bloodline flows through me, what will it mean for you? I vow to protect you, not to threaten you, not to force you into these noble vultures' games. But I am selfish too. I pray now to the spirits too, for once in my life, grant me my desires and protect the ones I love. To let me have and take. To let the love of my life remain strong and hale. To grant me another daughter to cherish. We'll hide her from your father so long as we're able. I hope you'll get to meet her someday. The text ends in the middle of the page. Reach for the next one with a heavy feeling in your caress. The last I wrote was before the siege ended, before Prince Caius and the Iron Beast fell. So much has happened, too much. I write now as we march into Ostara alongside the Crown's armies. My mentor remains at Rimegrave along with— oh, Mary, forgive me. I ask the spirits now whom I have offended, what great being I have challenged, that my life's course is charted only through misery. I don't deserve to be alive. I don't deserve to exist at all. I have no purpose left but to fight, and through fighting believe that at the very least I can protect you. My son was born in blood and chaos as the siege began to descend into terrible battle. I wasn't at my wife's side. I was out on the field. When I returned to her, never have I wished so much that I could take her pain and inflict it upon myself. We named our boy Tristan. We loved him, held him, cradled him, cherished him. But Mary remained weak after the birth. That weakness swiftly turned to fever. They told me there was nothing to be done for her, nor my son, born premature and sickly. They told me the fever would take them both. I wasn't in my right mind. I didn't even resemble something human. I went mad from the loss of good men and good friends, from the blinding color day and night. From the blinding cold day and night. From the starving and sickness and the suffering. All because of Prince Caius and Ostara. So when I knew that fiend had taken to the field to slay the revenant, I left too. I charged into battle without another thought. I let go of her hand. I left my wife and child on their deathbed, hoping I too would meet my end. I left Mary's side in my foolishness twice. But by what hand of fate am I alive now? Why do I remain when better men have fallen? Why does my stained soul endure while innocent ones are taken? I don't deserve it. Hero, Iron Slayer. I don't deserve these names. I don't deserve to be alive. I didn't even kill the beast. Souls are cleansed through flame. Burdens lifted by the pyre. Those we love find their way to the shore beyond the sunless sea through pyre and candlelight. But lamps and candles are in precious short supply in a siege. We abandoned our faith in humanity to preserve our bodies. We paid dearly for our folly. The Revenant took a shape that resembled a warhorse, though it stood far taller than any creature of the shore. Of this shore. It had grown to an immense size thanks to the countless bodies it feasted on. Its own body was twisted, formed from iron plates and rotting flesh from 100 limbs and 1,000 bones. Its long mane fell down its back, coarse and corpse white. A single horn, long and sharp, jutted from the front of its skull. But when I stared it down, ready to die, I saw not a beast but my loyal friend's eyes. Snowy. I didn't kill her, I couldn't. It was Caius who did it. Caius who pierced her heart. And his wooden spear, like the hero in the tales. But not before being fatally wounded by her jaws. Broken and dying, he begged me to put him out of his misery. He would have suffered in agony had I not ended it quickly with my sword. I held him as the light faded from his eyes. I was still holding him, my sword run through him, red with his blood, when the other knights caught up to me. To them, it looked like I had slain both him and the beast. I was too numb to speak. I thought it surely did not matter. My family must be dead, and I would soon follow them to the sunless sea. I could not even exact the vengeance I wanted. My enemy had sacrificed himself to save every soldier trapped in this frozen abyss alongside me. Somebody dragged me away from the noise and the cheers, stripped off my armor, and bandaged my wounds. Though all I wanted was to lie down in that field and never rise again. As soon as I gained hold of my senses, I returned to my wife and son. Tristan, my joy. The only mercy the spirits have shown me thus was that he did not suffer long. But Miri has always been strong. I've had her clinging onto life, slipping in and out of delirium, fever still burning through her body. Every moment her heartbeat fluttered. I feared it would be the last. I did not sleep for fear I would lose her as soon as I closed my eyes. Though exhaustion soon won, death did not. I thank the spirits to this day. I explained everything to Prince Raimund. How I was no hero. He ordered me not to tell another soul. I would be named Iron Slayer. His father would grant me a reward if I kept my mouth shut and kept fighting. We needed a hero on the front lines, he told me. The Star's forces had been ravaged by the Revenant and the cruel winter, and now the Fraser would strike back with twice the fury. I thought that would grant me the things my father never relented, that rightfully belonged to Mirjam. The manor she grew up in, the title of lady. I thought at least I could clear the debts we carried since adolescence. I was a fool. When my wife had barely returned from death's door, I left her again. Thrice, then, did I abandon her. And all for what? Another epitaph, another horse. Weapons, armor, songs. Gifts fit for a warrior, but not for a man who simply wished to build a home. Nowhere to settle, no place to shelter his loved ones. Only the knowledge that now it would never end. A hero can't be idle. He can't simply sit by and live quietly while the king needs him. I never wanted any of this. Not even his majesty would go against your father's wishes. Why should he? Why anger a troubled marquise at the behest of a bastard knight? Why listen to me? I, who am nothing but a failure and a fraud, who should be lying dead in that field. I'm sorry, Lynn. I'm sorry your brother is not who you thought he was. That he's a coward, a cheat, and a liar. That he is the last person anyone should call a hero. If I'm dead by the time you read this, I'm sorry for not telling you while I lived. I hope that I can end my confession here. I hope I will not live long enough to lengthen the list of my mistakes. Part of me hopes I'll be struck down in the upcoming battle and not have to face you or Miri again on this shore. I do not blame you if you despise me for everything I am, everything I have hidden, everything I have failed to be. You deserve to. I'm sorry, Lynn. I'm sorry for everything. I have no right to ask anything of you, but I pray that you remember one thing. I love you. I've always loved you with all my heart. Nothing will change this. I always have been, and always will be, your older brother. Love, Tristan. You stare at the final page, held fast in your quivering gauntlet. Their words echo within you. If reading them has inscribed them in, as if reading them has inscribed them into your steel skin. Felt that you believe these words would bring me no joy. Indeed they did not, brother. How could I ever despise? Of course it bring me little joy to know that you suffered. Why? Why did you hide it from me while you were alive? Why did you think I would ever despise you for it? I don't care if you weren't a hero. I don't care if you never lived up to the tales. All you needed to do was stay by my side. You set the pages down, your gauntlet shaking. You may have made mistakes, many of them. But so would I. You weren't alone in that, you fool. You weren't to blame for your misfortune. You endured cruelties no one deserved. As did she. She betrayed both of us. She laid with Heimdall while you were yet alive. I would call her my bitter enemy until she died. But though she was a murderer, an adulterer, and a traitor, I know how deeply she cared for you. And how much she suffered for her love for you. Mother, I can only pray that, wherever you are at rest now. May you, Mirjam, and the child you lost be together now, far beyond the sea. You turn your helm toward the altar on the window, and gaze beyond the glass. Snow has settled over the earth. The moon reflects the land's pallid face, shining bright in the sea of stars. By its place in the sky, you know dawn will soon break. You step toward the threshold where the abandoned altar sits, and without thinking, clear away the old candle stubs and shake off the dusty cloth. You set down the iron candlesticks with the 3 bright flames at the very center. Next, you reach into your satchel and place You place the urn carefully beside your nephew's candle. You place both pieces of the veil on the altar, wrapping them around the urn in a gentle embrace. You set the once cherished pendant down on the altar, where it glows like an ember under the candlelight. The unseen letters bearing your brother's love and anguish go next. The words briefly flicker over the pages as you set them down near the candlestick, then fade away again. You set your own ring down on the altar like an offering. You won't need it anymore, probably. You place your own childhood drawing of your brother and his beloved horse on the altar cloth, tucked beneath the pendant. You put your satchel away, then kneel before the altar, your mail-in plates clinking through every motion. The thin sounds echo within the hollow cavity of your being. Your Pauline's greaves and sabatons scrape the floor. You have no eyes to close, so you withdraw within your visor. The room around you is still. The wind is a distant whisper. Not a soul save yours stirs. In the silence you utter a plea that you can only hope the candle smoke will carry. May you be at rest now, beyond the sunless sea. May you be reunited with those you loved most. And may I count among them there someday. May I find you waiting for me to embrace you with open arms. Not with these limbs of steel, but as myself. The candles flicker, bathing the altar in a gentle golden glow, while the light of the moon shines silver from above. Forgotten for so long, the memories they hold now have a place to rest. The sea lies still. No threads entangle you. No dreams nor omens ensnare you. You feel not the cold of night nor the warmth of candlelight, though both surround you. Here, in the present, a shell of what you were, still you persist. Rise. You rise from your Pauline's and make your way out the room. I have my answers now. I know what my brother wanted, what he hoped for, what he dreamt of, so desperately of. Why he did what he did that day. That day that ended his life and changed mine forevermore. But now, you look down at your gauntlets. You have limbs no longer, but the blood has not been washed from your hands. The dark sea would turn incarnadine should allow you to cross the shore beyond. Its endless waters would not wash you clean. Your stained soul would bloody it, turn the black waves red. Thus, the same choice you first faced in the banquet hall before you recalled your true self and true memories present itself to you. Remain on the shore of the living, or fall into the depths of oblivion, deep below the waters where the abyss awaits. Before you can weigh either option, a sound reaches from the other end of the hall. You turn your helm to the scraping tune of limbs, bone and steel, not flesh. The hum of cold breath between your colder plates. The percussive tapping of iron teeth. It appears from the dark, and it sees you. You don't stop to think. You run as fast as your sabatons can carry you, though you know it's fruitless. If I make it to the entry hall, then maybe I can escape it! It leaps after you, quickly gaining. Your slow steel limbs join as disjointed concerto of metal and stone. 1 step, 3, 12. You dash through the exit of the servants' halls as your mail clatters erratically against your cuirass. Moonlight from the high windows of the entry hall pool around you as you sprint from dark into light. The thing remains fast behind you. You're moving too quickly now to stop or pivot directions. This split second to choose, you decide to save the game. Run forward, try to make it to the Great Hall. Great Hall. I could describe your heroic efforts to reach the door and slip through, narrowly avoiding the creature's teeth, or spin a tale of your valiant struggle to fight it off. 2 undead things in an undying duel. But that would be simply that, a tale. The reality is that your sabatons slip and you trip on the rubble surrounding the door, landing with a thundering crash around a heavy oak, and the creature is upon you. It begins with your limbs snapping each one off like the wings of roasting... What? Ah, roasting partridge. Your plates scream as they break apart, your rivets and straps bending like paper. I could go on, but you feel it well enough without me describing it for you, don't you? By the time the thing is done with you, a fine suit of armor is the last thing you resemble. Satisfied with its meal, it curls up in the rubble of its nest, snaps closed its metal jaws, and lays its head down to rest. It breathes a full yet uncontent sigh. As for you, with your tether in pieces, stuck in the belly of an undead beast, nothing remains to anchor you to this world. You drift, you unravel, you sink deeper and deeper into a dark that buries all thought and sight. A lightless, soundless, bottomless sea, where what remains of you will never break free. Hold on, wait, did that... I just want to make sure of that one. Achievement, become the beast next meal. Well then. Just run forward is what you're going for. You dash directly across the servants' hall, straight in front of you, toward the pile of rubble ahead. Wait. On the wall. The crank! Oh my god. You veer to the left, reaching for the contraption with outstretched gauntlets. You grip it, slamming into the wall, force nearly dents your pauldron, makes scream. You pull with all your might as the creature falls you into the hall, leaping over rubble and stone. For a moment, all save the beast is still. Then a sickening screech fills the air as the iron halo plummets from the ceiling. Metal crashes onto metal and flesh. The thing screams. A sudden force of the chandelier stops the beast in its tracks. It tries in vain to shake itself free, tangling itself even more in the heavy chains. Angered, it unhinges its visor and begins to tear at the metal with its rows of sharp teeth. Yeah, that's the noise you're getting. You don't wait for it to remember you're there. While distracted, you... keep watching it for whatever reason. Did I miss grabbing a wooden stake to do that one? Escape through the castle doors. You scurry through the hall while that thing is distracted, making your way through the pair of great doors already ajar. You push them just wide enough to squeeze yourself through. And land upon snow-covered steps, looking out at a world of white. You hastily ram the doors closed. With your cuirass and pauldron, remove the wooden staff that miraculously hasn't fallen out of your sash. I feel like that could have been used to stake it, potentially. Was I supposed to take her sword? I don't know. No, you said stake. And slide it through both handles of the great doors, buying you more precious time. The snow beyond the entryway is piled Pauline deep. You wade through the stillness, one agonizing step at a time. Slowly, painstakingly, you make your escape. The thing never appears behind you. The castle doors never break open. The thin staff holding them closed never splinters in two. Perhaps the revenant, satisfied by the meal you dropped on it, has no appetite left for you. And that's where I leave you. A lone, hollow night trekking through the snow, on a night soon to be swallowed by dawn. Lost with nowhere to go, belonging to neither shore. Perhaps one day your soul will untether itself from the rusted ruined steel. Perhaps your spirit will be untarnished enough by then that the sunless sea will let you wade across. Perhaps you'll wander until your metal turns to dust, and that dust is carried by the wind, as the fragments of your soul scatter into 1,000 pieces into the depths of the abyss. But until that day you walk, step by rusted step. Now I'm just seeing what little options I can get through here. You watch it hack and tear and swallow the chandelier. Rust and melted candle wax and all like one would a tough piece of meat. With every bite, it slowly breaks itself free. It croaks with metallic breath. Oh, okay. My armor. Mine. Okay, yep. That thing can speak? Does it still have a mind, a soul within it? You watch it tear off what's left of the iron handle and swallow the chains whole, the pieces rattling and scraping against its teeth as they slither down its maw. Finished with its unexpected meal, it turns to you. My armor stirs. Oh. The beast stares at you with two luminous blue eyes through the clink in its face. Its helm. Its silvery mane billows around it with every movement tangling itself in its twisted appendages. Your brother's words, describing the beastie one's face, come to mind. Souls are cleansed through flame. Burdens lifted by the pyre. The lamps and candles are in precious short supply in a siege. We abandon our faith and humanity to preserve our bodies. We paid dearly for our folly. The Astarians left this place, and the souls within it to rot and fester. No bodies were recovered. Not my knights, not my brothers'. Why would they light candles for their enemies? Why would they waste their time on rites? In a place like this, a haunting ground of despair and regret, how could I possibly foolishly believe his soul had escaped and found rest? The Revenant turns its head and neck in a languid motion. It moves lethargically now, weighed down by its meal, but you could still feel its stomach. As it plods towards you, the pale blue discs of its size trained on your armor, you approach. You mirror its slow steps, treading carefully as you draw closer to it. It swivels its head cautiously as it stares at you, eyes unblinking. Oh, thief? Ooh. No. This place was my home. Home? Brother, is it you in there? It's me, Lind. Dangerous leave? What? The danger is gone. The star is no more. Everyone who's ever hurt me is in a grave now. You step closer and closer as the creature does the same. Close enough that you can feel the wisps of its mane, the tendrils of its undying breath upon your plates. You extend your gauntlet toward the helm, where a sharp dagger-like horn protrudes from its skull. And then you see, hear, and feel dark. You feel the lapping of waters, neither gentle nor cold. Nothing lies beneath your sabatons. You drift neither sinking nor floating. Blackness is all you can see. Blackness and fog, like a shadow of the mist on the boreal sea. A glint of silver shines in that impossible dark. You wade towards it. Brother? He, too, drifts, half submerged in the dark, gazing down at the waters at as if his reflection will reveal itself in its mirrorless surface. Tristan, can you hear me? That voice. She's much younger than you are, but you remind me of my sister. It's me, brother, Lind. When did you grow older? Why are you wearing armor? This is the sunless sea, brother. Then, You died too. I failed you. No, you didn't. I escaped that day. I survived to carry on and rebuild our house. I lived a long life. I had a son and a grandson. I avenged you and defeated Ostara. I'm sure everyone knew you were a hero. I'm not a hero, Lynn. I was never a hero. I understand now why you believe that. I read the letters you left for me, Tristan. But even if you weren't a slayer of princes or monsters, you were still a hero to me. No, I don't deserve to hear that. I failed you. The spirit of your brother has not looked up once. Still, he refuses to meet your eyes. You've dreamt many times of meeting him again, beyond the living world. Of the words you'd say, of the answers you'd demand. But that was the past you. All her words die on your tongue, cold as the corpse you left behind. You consider now what you truly wish to tell him. You did fail me, brother. You never told me anything. Why did you keep me in the dark? All that father did, all that you had to suffer. Why didn't you let me know about any of it? Hydration time, real quick. Throat. What would it have changed? You're older, wiser than the girl I failed to protect. I'm sure you can think for yourself. Why did that man, your father, give you everything you desired? Because he loved you? Because you were his true-born child? If you're sleepy, why are you no sleeping? No. Because you didn't challenge him. Not like I did. To him, you were a dutiful daughter, one who worshipped him and never questioned him. He could never see you as a thorn in his side. If I told you the truth, if you had seen him for the monster he was, I know you would never have stayed silent. You have too good a heart, Lynn. I had to pretend I was happy. Or you would have known his cruelty like we did. That isn't fair. How could you let me live out a farce of happiness while you suffered? I wasn't lying when I called you my hero, Tristan. You were that and so much more to me. You were my teacher, my guardian. You were more my father than that man ever was. The only thing I needed to be happy was you. It's my fault. Stop blaming yourself! It was father's cruelty that made you act as you did. It wasn't any fault of yours. But I did fail you. I failed everyone. I failed to save anyone. I failed my family. What happened to Mirjam and your child wasn't your fault either. You know about Tristan. And you know it's my fault he died. Mary and I left for Rumgrave thinking we could raise our child in secret from you and father. But then the war started. Also, something that seems like a solid amount of just contradiction. Sleep is what you need. Had we only remained where it was safe, my son could have lived. Had I not taken to battle, perhaps I could have... You couldn't have known, Tristan. You did what you thought was best. It wasn't only that. I thought I could still fix everything if I kept fighting. I abandoned my wife when she needed me most. To fight for a king that would grant me nothing but empty titles. I ruined everything I still had. That isn't your fault either. You deserve so much more for your sacrifices. I would have rewarded you in his place had you told me. It was too late by then. I had already lost everything. Mirjam's love, my son, my honor, and my conscience. The only thing I had left was your happiness. I could not bring myself to tear down your world and let you see the cruel truth. Maybe in time I would have told you. But then, on the day of the tournament, the princess arrived to avenge her brother. It was me who drew her there. if I hadn't taken credit for slaying Caius. The death of everyone here was all my fault. Oh wait, no, none of it was, Tristan. I know the guilt you feel. I know what it means to have the death of hundreds, if not thousands, weigh on your shoulders. Every time I marched into battle, I knew countless men would die. I can only pray that the choices I made would lead to a worthy outcome. That the sacrifices wouldn't outweigh the costs. I failed countless times, made mistakes far worse than you did. I would curse my lack of foresight again and again, but in time I realized nothing about the future is known. You and I both acted as we thought best, for what we thought would lead to the greater good. It was fate that twisted those decisions into senseless tragedies. Lynn, you suffered through so much, didn't you? I only wanted to protect you, but I made you live in a world far more cruel than what I faced. I'm so sorry. It was a cruel world. It was a cruel life, but the cruelest fact was that you were no longer in it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too, brother. I'm sorry I ever took you for granted. I'm sorry that I put my happiness and desires before yours, and that I was never a sister you could share your pain with. So many times I only made you suffer more. But I'm happy and thankful you were my brother. I'm grateful even now that we'd spend those brief years together. Thank you, my precious sister. Your brother's spirit grows lighter before you, free from the waves, quickly fading away. Will I see you again on the other side? Someday, brother, but not yet. You've walked the earth for decades. You've paid your time. You deserve your rest now. But I still have years to wander, penance to pay. Will you wait for me until I find you again? Of course, Lynn. Always. Even old and wrinkled as you are, you'll always be my baby sister. Wrinkled? This is how I looked in my prime. The fading spirit gives you a smile. One that reaches his good eye. Goodbye, Lynn. I love you. You awaken in the entry hall again, dust and debris surrounding you instead of soundless waves. The beast's form, your brother's remains, lie slumped on the floor, unmoving. No eyes blink from behind the visor, no breath moves in its lifeless jaws. You press a hand on its form, softly stroking its mane, then rise. Thus begins my penance. You survey the ruins around you. I suppose I'll tidy up the place first. It might take a good part of a decade in my condition. I certainly don't expect to hire any servants as a ghost. You should be beyond the sea by now. But my brother's body still needs a proper pyre. And then we'll see what happens next. I'll see if any other souls here have yet to find their rest. Perhaps I'll wander outside when spring comes. You gaze upwards, as dawn's light streaks through the windows, bringing life into the empty hall. Golden light shines on white stone and blackened metal, bathing the room in warmth that even the winter wind cannot keep hidden. Perhaps I'll go far beyond the castle grounds someday, see the other sites of my crimes. But today, and here is where I begin. Years later. The scratch of a quill against parchment fills the quiet of early morning. Also, there's like 15 hours of stream if you want to know the context of this, or just play it yourself. It's a very, very enjoyable experience. The scratch of quill against parchment fills the quiet early morning. A man sits at a writing desk, pauses, then takes a glance out the curtained windows. Fragile spring leaves grace the bare branches of trees. Blossoms tentatively unfurl their petals in the sun. The soft golden light turns his silver hair stark white. He rests a moment more, then returns to the parchment before him. Her grandson. We discovered the remains of 138 bodies in the ruins. We held a funeral right there in Greywall, then transported the ashes to the capital where they'll be laid to rest at Kingsfield Cathedral. I remain here now to oversee the vigil. What's baffling is that the bodies were already laid out and arranged, however, as if someone had repaired them for the pyre. This was after they had been decaying for years, meaning it was the work of an unknown intruder, not a remorseful enemy. Whoever did this left no clue to their identity or motives. One can only wonder if it was a miracle performed by the spirits themselves. Among the ruins we found priceless objects, including paintings, jewelry, and furniture belonging to my grandmother and the Winter family. I believe the most valuable among them, however, were the letters and diaries belonging to my grandparents. With them, I hope to tell the complete tale of my mother, mother's mother, Lady Mirajam, and restore her name to light. Though the expedition was a success, I confess I am rather disappointed we didn't find the suit of black armor given to my grandfather, Sir Tristan. I would have liked to display it in tribute to his memory. But I suppose if he was as humble a knight as they say, he would have protested against such a thing. As the tale of Castle Greywall comes to a close, I hope that even some small part of my grandmother's soul can finally be at peace. I know she gave you a difficult time during our courtship. Thank you for understanding and forgiving her, and not running away. It would have made me an incredibly lonesome man. Please give my children love. But I beg you, dearest, don't share more gruesome details with them. We hardly need a repeat of what happened after reading The Tale of the Revenant. With all my love, Tristram. Well, ignoring my month-and-a-half gap between the last stream I did of this and finally finishing this. I cannot lie, I was very worried after the disappointment that Tiny Bunny was that I would... well, I wasn't... The worry was not exactly a founded worry. I've enjoyed all of Endys's stuff I've played thus far. But after Tiny Bunny, I was just like, please don't be another 2-year wait for something disappointing. Such a beautiful thing. I'm trying to give... I want to give more technical praise than I feel I'm capable of at times. Because I did just find it enjoyable, the story is enjoyable, but I will praise the pacing of information reveal throughout that. Just so you have to go through the roller coaster of how you feel about how you feel about certain people changing as the game goes on. Or as the story goes on there. From not even knowing who you are properly at the beginning to thinking you're Tristan. Yeah, very well put together. I'm glad I could finally finish it up, even though I'm like twice the average play length of Steam players who finished the game. But for now, that is the end of this stream here, so I thank anyone who came, hope people enjoyed. This was a lovely time here. And as always, bye-bye.